who believed in this neighborhood. Lisa Johannan and Central Detroit Christian are here. They hung in there, right, when everybody else was leaving. They hung in here. These apartment buildings have basically been vacant for a decade. And the thought was that they couldn't come back. But you've had a lot of partners that made it possible. Gary Torgo from Huntington Bank, I think when he started, it was 3 banks ago, but he headed up the fundraising for the Fund for the Future of the Affordable Housing that Camille Walker Banks has done such a great job leading. And with that funding, they've created 400 new affordable units. But I want you to think about this. 44 units right here. Next spring, another 90 across the street. We know that people who are living in houses and renting right now are under a lot of pressure because property values in Detroit are growing. That's what happens when your city's coming back. But we wanted to make sure nobody was pushed out of this city, that there was a place here from everybody. And now, in the middle of this beautiful neighborhood, 130 more families are going to be able to live in buildings that have been vacant. And I love every new building that's done, and Gary's doing one now on the riverfront, and that's great. But there is something special about the architecture of this city that you're seeing in these buildings, the fact that it's being saved and restored and woven in to the fabric of the neighborhood. And the interesting thing is, for the last 10 years, I have had a partner on affordable housing that has never wavered. Anything else we might have argued about, never once did we waver on a commitment to affordable housing. Mary Sheffield, as a new council person, set up an affordable housing fund. She's backed every single initiative for the last 10 years, and I know she's especially excited today because these new 130 units are coming to her council district. So please welcome our great council president, Mary Sheffield.
Great afternoon, everyone. It is so exciting to be here. What a beautiful day to be in our neighborhoods and to celebrate the opening of this development that will truly benefit Detroiters. I have to just first thank Mayor Duggan for his continued leadership in the area of affordable housing, to the development team, to HRD, and to all of the partners who really made this dream or this vision come to fruition. This truly is an example of the strength of public-private partnerships. I know that these projects would not be able to offer affordability if it was not for the gap that is filled in with this particular fund. And so I just want to thank all of the partners and everyone that played a role in making this project come to reality. As the mayor mentioned, I have stood firm ever since I took office that every Detroiter, no matter their income, deserves quality, affordable housing. And that is in every area, every neighborhood in this city. And so to see a development like this honor that and to bring this truly quality, affordable housing in our neighborhoods warms my heart. And so I'm so grateful for you all and your vision to bring this right here in our neighborhoods. A part of what I developed was that the standard here in Detroit is that if you do projects in our city, you must set aside at least 20% of those units to be affordable at 80% AMI. What always excites me is when I see developers go above and beyond that. And you all have done that on this particular project and are going to 50% of the AMI. So can we give them a round of applause for not just setting the standard and doing the norm, but really going above and beyond and addressing the needs of Detroiters. And so I thank you for believing in Detroit, for seeing Detroit for what it is, the beauty that it is, turning not 1, not 2, but 3 vacant buildings into something productive that our community truly needs. And I will continue to support projects like this that prioritize Detroiters and create opportunities for all Detroiters. So thank you so much for developing and believing in Detroit. And I'm so looking forward to the residents of this community reaping the benefits of this development. Thank you so much.
All right, I'd like to introduce Camille Walker Banks of List Detroit to come up and speak.
Thank you, Ryan. And hello, good afternoon. So I'm Camille Walker Banks and LISC Detroit, and I brought my colleagues come on up here. My colleagues up here who have really done an amazing job working with developers across the city and ensuring that you are supported in big opportunities like this. Earlier today, we toured the city of Detroit and the Detroit Housing for the Future. Grantors and partners joined us, and we visited developments that LISC has invested in throughout the city. We've created opportunities for Detroit residents that have been the hallmark of LISC work since coming into this market in 1990. LISC Detroit drives bold ideas and resources to connect residents to wealth-building opportunities through home ownership, small business supports, and in addition to expanding access to affordable housing, employment training, wraparound services through financial coaching at our Centers for Working Families, we are making a difference in developing communities across the city. Our community development initiatives are inclusive and equitable and will ensure that residents can participate and benefit from decisions and resources that shape Detroit's neighborhoods. So in 2018, the City of Detroit published a multi-family affordable housing strategy report, which confirmed the extensive housing challenges for the city due to rising housing costs, a shrinking supply of quality, affordable housing, and the decline or obsolescence of available resources and programming to create and preserve affordable housing. So the Detroit Housing for the Future Fund was created in response to that crisis. And the fund closed with $58 million of funding, thanks to, I'm going to give a shout out to our partners and grantors, JP Morgan Chase, thank you very much, the Huntington National Bank, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Ford Motor Company, CIBC Bank, Citizens Bank, Fifth Third Bank, First Independence Bank, Flagstar Bank, Key Bank, Penske Corporation, PNC Bank, TCF and Chemical Bank before they became Huntington, but they were a part of this, and with a guarantee from the Kresge Foundation. Demand for this capital is extremely high, and that, as we see where the fund has been fully allocated, 1 year ahead of schedule, and with a robust list of projects seeking support across the city. So with a total development of $71.6 million, with 406 units financed, 376 units in progress, our commitment to equitable development is demonstrated by the 9 Developers of Color grants that have been awarded to Black and Brown developers. I want to thank the local LISC local advisory board. You members who are in the audience, thank you for your support. And I would also like to thank Mayor Duggan for your support, the Housing Revitalization Department team, and MISTA for their partnership and guidance, and most importantly, the LISC Detroit team, specifically Brandon Ivory and Victor Abla, for their work in moving projects forward and giving technical assistance freely to participating developers, especially those who are embarking on their first multi-family development. I also want to thank LISC Fund Fund Management Team for who manages the Detroit Housing for the Future portfolio. And with that, I'd like to invite George Ashton, who is the president of LISC Fund Development, who took the time to be with us, coming in from Washington, D.C., for this special celebration. I invite you, George, to bring remarks.
Well, I'm happy to make the trip. Every time I come, you guys have weather like this. So the mayor tells me it's always like this in Detroit. I don't know any better. Excited to be here. I won't say much more because so much has been said about the success of the fund. We have 3 projects right near each other. Ryan and Devin, amazing what you're doing for this area to revitalize the whole neighborhood. The fund is so excited to be a part of a multi-development like this. We are 9 million of 14 million across these 3 projects, which really means that the money that comes from our investors at really low rates that we then can turn and lend to project developers at low rates directly transforms into or converts into affordability, right? That's what makes these units able to be 50%, 80%. And so the sacrifices of everybody who's a part of the effort is probably what I want to highlight most of all today in terms of the success of this partnership. My team is a national team that supports the local team, and we manage 10 funds across the country at close to $1 billion. This one is the fastest in terms of deploying across the country. That's super exciting. Time for the next one. But I can't say enough about all the partners and what this ecosystem has done to make affordability a priority. So thank you.
Thank you, George, and thank you to your team for joining us today. So the Huntington Bank was one of the first to take a chance on the Detroit Housing for the Future initiative at its inception. And joining today's celebration is Mr. Gary Torgo. Mr. Torgo has taken risk in Detroit for many years, very calculated risk in real estate and in banking sector, and being a pioneer in the Detroit Housing for the Future Fund is another example of taking a big risk that ultimately benefits those in need of affordable housing. Yet with all of Mr. Torgo's accomplishments, he genuinely cares about the people, and fortunately the people of Detroit. He is the model that one can be highly successful while leading with kindness and empathy. So it is my honor to bring to the podium Mr. Gary Torgo, the chairman of the board of directors for the Huntington National Bank.
Thank you very much. George, you should be recognizing that she is the best in your whole team around this country. Give her another round for Camille. What an amazing job. Could I ask the Huntington team to come and stand with me? The Huntington team, come up. You guys do all the work and I get all the accolades, so come up and stand here. These are the people that do the work every day for Huntington. So Ryan, we're thrilled to be here to see this project. It's amazing. I wish the census counters could stand on this street every day. They'd get a real idea of who lives in Detroit. When the mayor called me originally to lead the fundraising effort for the strategic fund, for the neighborhood strategic fund, I said, okay, Mr. Mayor, what's the money going to get spent for? And he said, it's going to go for affordable housing. He says, that's the key to the growth of Detroit. And we're going to take it on, and we're going to take it on with lots of money. And $500 million was raised through the mayor's efforts to create this. Our partners in this were Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Penske Corporation, American Axle, Flagstar, our bank, and Fifth Third. And they were just a group of the original contributors to the corporate side of the Strategic Neighborhood Fund, and that was really at the mayor's initiative. And we couldn't agree with you more that the council president has taken this on. It really is a community effort, and it's quite amazing. A key to the whole city is the affordable housing. And what's happened is that there are new initiatives. The mayor, we were just at a press conference a couple weeks ago with the council president and the mayor, where they announced the down payment assistance program, where millions of dollars are going into the city to give people down payments to move from rental units to affordable housing in our city. It's a remarkable sea change in the community. So on behalf of Huntington Bank, a terrific team of people who are really doing the work, we are committed to 2 neighborhoods, Grandmont, Rosedale, and Cody Rouge. TCF and Chemical and Huntington joined together in Huntington. And so we have 2 of the 7 neighborhoods, and we spend a great deal of time there. And every time a new affordable housing unit goes up, we feel a pride in seeing that the money is spent in the right way. So on behalf of Huntington Bank, we thank you all. Camille, thanks for being a tremendous partner at LISC. Thank you all. Thanks for the great developers who are doing their work. Thanks to the mayor and the council president and all of the people that are here. And let us continue to see Detroit going in the great direction it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome up Julie Schneider from the City of Detroit Housing and Revitalization Department.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Schneider. I'm the director of the City of Detroit's Housing and Revitalization Department. On behalf of the department, I want to thank everyone for being here today to celebrate the completion of the renovations at Weber and also the major transformation happening on this block. This building and the ones next to it will provide Detroiters high-quality, new affordable housing options in Piety Hill. At HRD, one of our primary goals is to ensure that all Detroiters have a place in our neighborhoods as they grow. Renovating vacant buildings like this help us to accomplish that goal. They play a vital role in helping us to accomplish that mission, not only providing affordable housing, but also reactivating the streets and the value of both affordable housing and activity on the streets together really can't be undervalued. In 2018, we set our goal to preserve 10,000 units of affordable housing and develop 2,000 new units of affordable housing. At that time, if you just looked at how much it cost to build housing, how much it cost to preserve housing, I think some said, rightly so, that we had a math challenge. And in order to solve that, meaning to be able to actually develop, rehab buildings, we had to identify new sources. The Detroit Housing for the Future Fund was part of our solution to be able to reach those goals. And when we announced that, certainly some said, well, that's a new fund. That's a new idea, something that hasn't really been done in the way that you're proposing it. How are you going to accomplish that? And thankfully, with the leadership of LISC, with our funding community that really rose to the occasion and believed in what we could do, believed that we could redevelop Detroit through affordable housing, we're standing here today in really a tremendous example of that. You have a block, a very concentrated area within this block where you had 3 vacant buildings. 3 vacant buildings exposed to the elements, having an effect on the daily life of the residents. Today, we're celebrating the rehabilitation and opening of one building, but probably later this year or early next year, we'll be back with these other 2. It's truly a tremendous accomplishment and one that wouldn't be possible without the Detroit Housing for the Future Fund and the belief from our funders and belief in our developers and demand from our developers in deploying the funds. So I want to thank everybody today and congratulate the Hazelwood partners for completion of the Weber today. Thank you for your dedication to creating affordable housing opportunities in Detroit. Also would like to thank LISC Detroit and the fund's corporate givers, as well as our partners at MISHDA, and everybody who's a part of this collective mission to make sure that Detroit remains an affordable place for all of its residents. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Next up will be Lisa Johannan from Central Detroit Christian. Lisa and her team have been working in this neighborhood for many, many years and has seen the block in a lot of different conditions.
It's a great day today to see this building fully renovated. I remember when it was occupied, and I remember dealing with a lot of the tenants. They didn't want to live there. It was very poorly managed. It had bed bugs and roaches, and we did our best to try to help people find other places to live. So then it went vacant, and then these guys moved in and have made a dramatic change, and this will be desirable housing for people. And so as we've worked for so many years in developing Piety Hill here, we did a lot of single families and duplexes, but this was like the eyesore of the neighborhood, this right here, these 3 buildings. It made Hazelwood almost seem like, oh, is it ever gonna get developed? And so we're so grateful that Devin and Ryan came along and took this huge challenge upon them. This is no small thing. I know many of you know that. And so it changes this block and it changes this community. It has stabilized Hazelwood, you know, and it's brought light. Because you drive down here at night when these buildings were vacant and it was very dark. And so we're seeing great things happen in this neighborhood of Piety Hill. We're seeing stabilization, and this is almost like the final step in all of that. And so we're very grateful. This community is grateful, and we thank you guys so much.
All right, and our last speaker is going to be Kofi Bashir, who's the project manager from Cross Construction Group.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kofi Bashir. I am the Senior Project Manager at Cross Construction Group, and we're the general contractor, somewhat responsible for helping in the efforts of bringing these projects back to life. Honored to be here today speaking on behalf of Cross Construction Group, and I just want to say my thanks to the Hazelwood partners, the City of Detroit, Mayor Duggan, and we're excited to be here. I'm kind of nervous, so just take it easy on me with the eyes. Renovating these buildings with such amazing historic character and scale is more of an art than it is a science. We've enjoyed the challenge of bringing them back to life, and Cross is proud to be a part of helping add much needed housing in this neighborhood and the city of Detroit. We've been on site since the very beginning when Devin and the Hazelwood partners were still in due diligence, and it's truly a testament to the skilled trades that we have available in Detroit, that we can tackle the intricate plaster work, weaving new mechanical, electrical, and plumbing through pre-existing wall cavities, and restoring their former glory buildings that have fallen on hard times for decades. I'd like to personally thank our many subcontractors that have gotten us through the Weber, and well on our way to wrapping up the Lee Arden and the Kingsley Arm building across the street. Cross makes it a point to hire local, and we hope the opportunities here in Detroit continue as we continue to expand the construction industry in Southeast Michigan. Our work here on Hazelwood Street is far from done, and these walls have surprises around every corner. But we're committed and excited to deliver 2 more exceptional apartment buildings across the street with Hazelwood partners and the continued support of project lenders and the City of Detroit's BC team. We'll once again return this dynamic block to a thriving mix of rental, single-family places to call home, removing this blight forever. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our formal event here. We invite everybody, I know there's a lot of you, we invite you to come inside. Actually, it looks like we're going to do a ribbon cutting over here first, but we have a few units that are open on the first floor, including a model unit and a couple others, so we invite you to come in and take a look. There's food both here at the Peaches and Greens table and also inside in the lobby, and thank you again for taking time to come out.